like that announcer guy. Good morning, Profitable Stylist. What is going on, all y'all out there? We are talking about, is online sales really better than retail sales for your beauty brand? So this is a heavily contested topic. It's not a topic that a lot of hairdressers like to talk about. So here we are to argue it and hopefully make sense of it and bring some better light to it. And I've got some very interesting statistics. TLDR, online selling is not necessarily better than selling in person.
Yeah, Eddie was sharing some such a tongue twister, huh? some statistics with me just before this, and I was kind of impressed. And I had I wouldn't say we're going to argue today because I am not. I don't have a strong opinion about this. I was always a weak retailer. And, it all started, and listen, I don't agree with what I'm going to say now because I've heard the arguments and you've had some good ones over the years that I agree with. But my original thought process, my very first few months in a JCPenney styling salon, cutting my teeth there, getting ready to cut hair. And I remember him saying, you get 10% of the retail products you sell. And immediately I go in the back to shampoo this lady's hair, and this I guess a mentor, they linked me up with a mentor, and I'll never forget, her name was Melissa. And Melissa said, listen, recommend conditioner at that bowl back there. Tell them it's just an extra $1. Now this is 35 years ago, so extra $1. And right away I thought, if I sold a retail product for $1, I get 10 cents. But right now, if I sell this conditioner, it just takes me a few seconds to do, I make 50 cents because I was 50% commission. So immediately I thought, well, if I'm going to waste my breath trying to get people to get more from me, I should focus more on services because I make more percentage than retail. So that's what started my belief in the whole industry. And from there, there's a lot of really good arguments about why and what retail does for your business. And they're all very legitimate. But you can't say what I was thinking there wasn't accurate. It's just that the fact is there's a whole lot more time and talking and gossiping going on that you truly should and can be able to do both, right?
So let me agree with you in your thought process, because this is something, especially when we have the newer stylists, and I'll say newer. I'm not necessarily going to say younger stylists. I'm going to say newer stylists that are learning about how commission pay works. And like your thought process is very accurate. I can get 50% commission if I upsell this right now, and I'll spend my time and effort and energy telling the client about how this is going to benefit them, versus I feel like I only have this window of opportunity to explain something to the client. Why take the commission cut 10%? Like, why would it, if I'm getting paid 50% versus 10%, why would I take a 40% commission cut and sell the lesser thing and make less commission, make less paycheck off of it? So it makes sense. And in the short term, you are correct. 100%. You will make more money. Absolutely. You'll make more profits. And that will impact directly right here, right now, your next paycheck.
That's right. That's right.
So then you have to consider this. And I'm going to use this analogy because this was a great advice that was given to me by an accountant. And it has to do with taxes and Social Security. And this is just an analogy. And I'll show you how this fits to what I'm about to tell you. You can show your tips and report your income properly right now, and then you get it back in Social Security later in life. But if you don't report your income and your taxes now, then you have to be more fiscally responsible with the money you make now, and you don't get to complain about it that you're not going to have it later in life. So with that same analogy, if you make your commission now, the 50%, for example, then you have to be responsible and fiscally, financially responsible with the monies you get immediately right now. And if you're in a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, or if you're in debt, or if you're young and starting out, or whatever your situation is, it's very hard to be fiscally responsible because you're just trying to stay afloat. You're not trying to drown. When you're taking the lower commission cut now and you're selling the lower retail product rather than the higher service product, there is psychological proof that you will retain that client for many more years. There is financial proof that in the long run, you will make more income from those commissions. There's a snowball effect that occurs that outweighs the now versus the future. The problem is you're not wrong. The analogy is not wrong. Nothing is wrong. It's all a matter of what is your current situation and what do you have to deal with. That's the unfortunate of it.
Well, the thing that as I started to do hair over time and make money over time, I started to understand something else, that selling that retail product, if you're in the right salon in the right location, isn't necessarily done by you either. So it's a profit that you make. Why can't you do both? It's a profit you make in addition to. So I'm going to do that conditioner at the bowl and say, and you should take some home too, because now I'm going to make the extra 50% and the extra 10%. And hopefully, as I build all these little 10-cent, now nothing costs $1, so it's going to be more like $10 products. So I'm going to get $1 from it. And I don't necessarily have to physically work to do it. It should be during the same physical work. Worst case scenario, I'm ringing the client up at the register. It was a push button. I'm pushing these buttons back then. And the physical labor was a couple more buttons to add $10 to it, or scan the barcode, which I don't think we had then. And then it was added to, so it was extra income. But if I'm lucky and the things are set up correctly in the salon, a few weeks later, that client stops by. She is my client in the computer, hopefully. And she buys not only that shampoo or conditioner, but another product and a styling product. And so that income or those products and those sales hopefully become an added income continuously to my paycheck that I don't even have to necessarily think about, as long as I'm supporting that process of getting them, right? So now that we've kind of started, and we go a little deeper, but I just want to make sure people know that the thing we're really going to be talking about is how buying from you personally in a salon compared to buying online compares, right? That's where we're going to go with this in a minute.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is better? I'd love to see some comments. Why?
I'd be highly interested in today's environment, what people are thinking, because in the beginning, it was all about, you got to buy from me, you got to buy from me. And then the mentality shifted to, oh man, I can't compete with online. Everything is online. That's the future.
Well, before that, it was shifting to like Ulta or big beauty supplies or drug stores,
the local stores and stuff like that.
Big box stores, right? We're selling it cheaper.
And now the mentality is support local, support your local businesses.
Yeah.
So we're in such a great place right now because it's such a leveled playing field. I don't feel like one place outweighs the other. I think it's pretty much anything goes, which opens up an amazing opportunity to be able to sell to anybody and everybody, and especially your own clientele that you see behind the chair. And so the first topic that we'll hit is the retention.
And you were kind of talking about that, right? You were saying that clients stay with you longer if you're also and I think you got to change the way you word it, not you specifically, but the mindset, because we're talking about, always reminds me of somebody that makes fun of us for using the word sell. But, if we're saying we sell the retail, they're going to be a better client. It's not because you sold it. It's because you cared enough to help them get the products that makes their hair look better more often. It makes it easier to clean, easier to condition, easier to style. Everything looks better because you put a little effort into getting the product and how to use the product. And then when they look better and feel better, it's a reflection on what you recommended. So they like you more, so they stay with you longer. All of that's tied together. And I think you and I just already know that. And I thought, we're not saying it. Maybe some newer stylists or people that don't support retail, like John, don't get that full picture. I'm helping you. And, even if you help them and they do buy online, it's still a step in the right direction. You're still helping them. You're helping them do something better. I'm not saying I support them buying online, but if you don't have everything set up correctly to discourage the online sales, well, then that's kind of on you, and you can change some things to go in that direction. We'll talk a little bit about that also.
Agree. One of the things in particular that I do that you like a lot, I do color collections for each one of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is every season I force my clients to shift their color to whatever the current season is. And each one of them have their own little trends. It gives me an excuse to update their formula at a minimum 4 times a year, if not more often. And so I'm always ahead of the game of dealing with whatever their adjustments are to their hair. Texture, density, and porosity changes over the years. Unfortunately, we age. There's no cure to that yet. Okay. And as we age, our hair changes. So then your gray coverage becomes more resistant, or now you need gray coverage, whereas before you didn't. So changing the formula constantly is a great thing. Well, adjusting the retail to correspond with that falls right in line. And it becomes their regime, their beauty regime, or their beauty regiment. Changing the retail, adjusting and recommending proper retail as the season changes with their hair or with their hairstyle or with their hair color is the best way to stay ahead of the game, stay on top of it. And when you're making those recommendations, there's an insane retention, 92% retention rate over not recommending proper retail or proper regime or maintenance regimen to the client. And that's a huge, insane claim to make. But this is not my statistics. This is just this. I'm just going off the user data that's out there. A lot of these companies do these market research stuff, and that's what they find. Now, in comparison to online sales, it's only a few percentage points. It's not that high. It's in the single digits. And the reason is because I buy from this place online today. Well, 3 months from now, when I need that product again, am I going to remember that I bought it from them? Is it going to be on sale somewhere else? Is it just by the moment I'm just going to happen to be shopping on a different website? Is somebody else going to recommend me something else? There is no customer loyalty, satisfaction, or reward in any way, shape, or form to purchase online versus when I'm purchasing from my stylist, telling me, oh, look at how your hair is improving, and the stylists keep reinforcing, how is that shampoo working out? How is that mousse working out? How is that spray working? Oh, look at how good you did with your style, blah, 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 blah. There's that constant positive reinforcement involved. It's like making adjustments to your diet or to your script or to your meds. You're finding that sweet spot of what works. So there's a huge conversion gap between physical recommendations versus trusting online recommendations.
I'm going to talk about a real weird one that I didn't completely believe in, but my karate friend Jude, he's a lot more touchy-feely than I am, and with his feelings, and he's much more sensitive about everything. And some things that he does and says makes me think for just a minute. And I think that this one we all do, whether we like it, agree with it or not. But when he has like some new experience, we're going on a new vacation somewhere or whatever, he'll say something like, hey, a new song came out, or I have an old favorite song that we're going to listen to a few times along the way because it'll help me remember this vacation in the future. So he pairs a sound up, and we all are brought back to memories from songs, but he purposely makes this happen in situations where he wants to remember a future or a past vacation in the future, or some event that we're all doing together or whatever. He's like, let's pair this song with this. And I'm like, that's weird. How do you even think like that? And so then in the future, every time he hears this Jay-Z song, he's reminded of a particular Disney trip, different than every other Disney trip, because he's purposely. And so in this case, you recommend a product and they like it and it's got a particular smell and they stay with it. You have to think that there's similar things going on, right? They are thinking of this smell and experience as Eddie. This is the Eddie smell and experience. It makes them think of you more. And that's part of the retention that we don't really talk about psychologically, right? Wouldn't you think that's true?
I love that. I love that analogy. So now you put that with the style. So then clients, I'll say 50-50. Half your clients change their styles regularly. Half your clients kind of get stuck with the one kind of style that they like the most. But even for the clients who get stuck with the style they like the most, that still adjusts and it tweaks itself over the years a little bit, meaning sometimes they like it a little flatter, sometimes they like it a little fuller. So then you can say, oh, remember when you were wearing it with more volume? This is the product that you were using and you used to like that a lot. And like, oh, yes, I did. So that's how I would equate that. Versus I have a client in particular who changes her hair color constantly. When she's darker with her hair color, there's a particular shampoo and conditioner that she prefers. When she's lighter, out of necessity to maintain the condition of that blonder hair, when we go blonder on her, there is a particular shampoo, conditioner, leave-in, oil, mask. There's so many more things that go along to maintain the lighter, more fragile hair color that she has.
Yeah.
But that's how you make those analogies. That's how you remember the pairings. Like I like that. That's a good analogy.
So I wrote down another note from us talking a few minutes ago. And this one, I'm going to make fun of John again. This is so good with him not being here to defend himself, right? Can we just make this a whole John Hayton hour? And
I'm on it.
Then,
I'm on it.
I'm on it. And then maybe next week you could just be on with him and he could defend himself the whole time. I'm sure he's taking notes. But I know he said that sometimes.
Wait, leaving me next week again?
No, I don't think I am. I was just kidding. But next week, maybe y'all just give me the day off. Next week, I mean, you were saying before the video, you said he said that the clients open their phone and order a product he recommended right there on Amazon or whatever. Sometimes, right?
He'll be talking to a client. He'll complain. He'll say, I just spent 15 minutes recommending this product to the client, explaining to her how to use it, how it works, why it's good, why it's this, why it's that. And then she'll just grab her phone and just go, all right, thanks. I ordered it.
Does he have the product in the shop when he's
the product is sitting like right behind him? Or like he'll put the product right in front of them like you're supposed to, right? And then all of a sudden
next Thursday is Thanksgiving. RJ just
that's why I said I just got it. Maybe he'll give me next week off. I'm like, I just got it. Right.
I didn't get it. You got it. Okay. Yeah. So they order it right in front of him. And then what does he do? Thank him.
And then he's upset. He's like, well, then why am I selling retail for? It's so disrespectful. Why am I selling retail for?
Get that phone right out of their hand. That's what you got to do. Delete and then delete the Amazon app right in front of them. No.
Right? Snap your phone. Get out of here.
You got to have an honest conversation. Like, whoa. Why are you buying it on there? Now, listen, I get bonus points for for the company. We order stuff and RJ will put on my desk every once in a while a $100 gift card from Amazon. So sometimes there are these gift cards and I've got credits with Amazon and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to spend money at Walmart because it's free from Amazon. Not free, but it's already money I have in this location. So I get things from there. So I get it sometimes. And people have such a strong relationship with Amazon. But I was thinking that, and this might not be John, I have no idea what he charges. Maybe he's not expensive enough. Because I don't think that if you're a high-end stylist doing high-end services, you value what you do and you're charging good money for it. I don't think those clients that come to me at this high-end service price really care about a couple of dollars cheaper or more for a retail product. They're doing it for the recommendation, the relationship. And if they're going to save $2 on a bottle of shampoo, I don't think that really matters. Because when somebody calls and asks, how much are your highlights? Do I answer? Because they're not really interested in my price. If they are, they don't come to me. Now, I haven't been behind the chair for a while, but when I was behind the chair and I answered, I never answered that question because the people calling my salon are not calling for price because we're positioned differently. They know I'm not going to be cheaper. They know they can find places cheap. They could just go to Supercuts, Mastercut. There was places that were obviously cheaper because of the name of the business. And that's who they would call. But I realized a long time ago, psychologically, people have a little difficulty in communication. And when they call, they don't really know what to ask. They're just trying to feel you out and just trying to see, they're like in their head. You got to think of it like this. They're thinking, I'd really like to go to that place. A few of my friends go there. They get really good services. I wonder if it's too much for me, really. But I wonder if they can take me. So when they call, I had a receptionist do this one time. I said, Kylie, don't answer the price. Go through it like this. It was a Sandler sales technique I'd learned from Darren before I took the training. It was basically repeat the question back and ask if that's what they're looking for. And this is how it went. She said, God, they called. They said, how much is a haircut? And she said, is a haircut what you're looking for? Well, no, actually, I'm looking to get color. Well, right away, it was like they don't know what to say. They're just looking for a relationship to see where they feel comfortable, to see if you sound like you can do my hair and make me happy. They want to see if the relationship sounds good, feels comfortable. It's all about the relationship. And the more times you ask questions, the more relationship you're building. And so I thought, okay, so I'm just going to guess some prices. A roughly $45 haircut went to about a $65 color service with the haircut, most likely. And then she said, oh, okay. So color, what color were you looking for? Well, I was actually looking for more something like highlights. Boom. The price just went up. It wasn't even color. Every time we ask the question of, is that question that you just asked really what you're looking for, but did it in a different, more polite way, it grew. And so this was during a time when more than just one color was popular. And so she said, oh, okay. Highlights. Yes. Very popular right now. What color are you? What color highlights? I was wanting to do that red, blonde, brown, 3 colors now. The price just went up again. Every time she asked a question just to have relationship and communication, the price was driven up. By this time, it was like more like, all right, she's thinking in her head what stylist would do this service the best. And so do you have a particular day or time works better for you, morning or evening? Are you off? And she's like, well, Thursday works good, mornings. Now she's looking on the book. The only one that's available happens to be Priscilla that day, So she says, well, I have the perfect stylist for you Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with Priscilla. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. I'm so excited. And the price was never told. And now we're well over $100, maybe closer to $200 or more. And the client feels completely comfortable coming in, so happy we can do it. They didn't ever care about the price. It was more about the feeling and will I feel comfortable there? And can they do what I want to do? By this time, she's thinking, I don't care what it costs. They know exactly what I'm talking about. I think I'm going to be happy. Happiness is worth much more than not knowing. And so that's
I love this. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. I know you want to add to it.
No, I love this because I preach this in the salon and in classes all the time. What you're talking about is called perceived value. Mm-hmm. And from a service perspective, equivalent exchange. From a psychological perspective, equivalent exchange. Okay. The perceived value has to be, well, what that means is, as the consumer, do I feel good about what I'm buying into right here, right now? And what I'm buying into can be anything that doesn't even have to have a monetary value assigned to it, like you just said. If I'm the consumer and I'm calling you, the salon, saying, how much is a haircut? And you're just saying, it's $45. You want to come in or not? And I'm going, well, I don't feel good about you too. You too, right? So like, no, thank you. I'll think about it. I'll call you back.
I'll call you back. Right.
Call and say, hey, how much is a haircut? And you go, well, is that really what you're looking for? Is a haircut? I'm gonna be like, well, yeah, but since you're asking, I really need a hair color. And it's like, oh, okay, what kind of color you're looking for? And now I'm thinking, oh, this person's spending a minute to engage with me.
You went from an answer to a relationship.
And now the perceived value increases all of a sudden your currency with me is my time feels value. I feel heard. I feel welcomed, so all of a sudden I'm engaged. So now once the engagement begins, this is where the equivalent exchange begins. And this is where a lot of stylists drop the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to pull from them more than what we think they can give us, or what we want them to, or what they want to give us from our perception.
Too many. Yeah.
But it should be the other way around. We should try to give way more than they're expecting. So then this way they're much more willing to engage with us. That's where the equivalent exchange comes in. There's got to be equal value somewhere in there for both parties involved. As the business versus the consumer, it has to be slightly skewed in the consumer's favor, because how the business wins and makes money is by the consumer spending more money.
Yeah.
And spending more time, spending more relationships, spending more referrals, whatever that is, that's the equivalent exchange. One of my favorite tactics to use when I'm doing a consultation with a new client, especially, and even with an existing client who's asking for newer services that they've never received before, I love to use the words, can be terribly expensive if you want it to be. But let's talk about this. How much what? How rich are you? What lottery did you win that I didn't know about? But right, it gets a laugh, it gets a chuckle, and that's the whole point. It's supposed to diffuse the tension. It's supposed to be some pattern interrupt. It's supposed to be some crazy off the wall thing out of left field that nobody's expecting to hear. It's not answering the question directly, but it's not disrespecting the question and sidestepping it either. It's addressing the problem, which is the first question usually is never the real question. You got to dig a little deeper past those layers of onions, That's
a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. So the reason why I come up with, so how much is a haircut? Well, it could be terribly expensive if you wanted to, but it doesn't have to be. What kind of haircut are we talking about? Like, what is the style? What are you trying to achieve? What's happening? Let's discuss.
Well, right there. Don't go any further. There's so much to unpack right there, because that tells me right away, like, oh, all haircuts are not exactly the same. And this guy knows how to do different haircuts at different values.
It's a flex without bragging.
We can hone in on exactly what I want, which I already know I'm hard to deal with. It's probably worth a little more money for the amount of time, but he doesn't mind listening to all my stupid questions and little details. He actually is asking for these details. I'm probably paying a little more and I don't care. That's what I'm thinking.
Right there. Perceived value, equivalent exchange. They feel like they're getting something worth their time, their effort, their money, their whatever. And I feel it's worth my time to try to get a new client, because that's another $20,000, $50,000, $60,000 I'll make over the lifetime of having that client, which is, more pralines I can order from New Orleans. Shipped up here.
Well, a word that my wife really put into my life recently, as I've been doing some social media talks, is authentic relationships. And so, so if you're authentic and you really care, which I always have, I mean, I know as a boss, and you end up firing some people, or you got to be hard on some people, or you got to set the rules. You always get that reputation of some word that starts with an A, and it's not always great. So I got thick skin and I get that reputation. And then some people are kind of surprised to understand how much I care in so many situations, because I love helping people, but I also love to hate people that don't care. So if somebody doesn't care, doesn't want help, doesn't show an interest, I can just boom, turn it off and seem like a real negative person towards that person. And they're like, why don't you care? It's not that I don't care. They don't want the help. Why would I waste my time? Keep trying. I can just turn it off, cut them off really quickly. And they think that I am really mean. And I can't use a lot of the normal words I use. We're trying not to curse on here, but if somebody wants my help and is appreciative, I am so willing to give for free, so much for free, like this right here. Sure, one day YouTube might start paying us. If we get a whole bunch of subscribers and comments, please subscribe, comment, all the things, press like, it'll help us. But if it doesn't, we enjoy talking to each other. We enjoy passing on the knowledge. It makes us remember some of the things we probably should still be doing. It helps our smaller base right now do better. And that's enough to start with. But if we are able to start helping even more people do even better, that'd be wonderful if we got paid big money from the algorithms in the future. And maybe one day that would pay off. But we both enjoy helping people. It's just in our nature. When I do a client's hair, you're reminding me. I dropped my little fiddle pen. You're reminding me.
Stick.
I know. I don't know. Oh, it's on the wall over there. So you're reminding me of some of the things I just do naturally that I never realized. And it's a big value add. And I think this one goes into the retail also is I do it when I'm helping teach some of these hairdressers or putting extensions in. I realize customers often think after I pay and I leave, it's over. It's over. Mm-hmm. Don't call, don't talk, don't see you till next time. And so I think sometimes they might be thinking, and this might just be me, they might be thinking, oh God, I hope I don't forget anything. And so I try to ease all of that. And I say, listen, this is a relationship. It's not just a one service. We won't talk till the next service. We're in a world of cell phones these days. Take my cell phone number. Text me if you have any questions. When I do a hair replacement consultation, I say that. They're like, okay, God, I hope I remembered all the questions. It's okay if you didn't. You can text me in 5 minutes, or you can text me at 11 o'clock tonight. I am a workaholic. My phone's off when I'm sleeping, so you're not going to bother me or whatever. Text me, call me anytime, day or night. If you have any questions, concerns, something you need fixed, communicate with us. If we put hair on your head or extensions in and you leave and you're like, oh, I think this one bead might be a little tight, or this keratin bond might be a little close. It's hurting. Let us adjust it or fix it. I don't want you going through any pain any longer than you need to, because you being comfortable is my job. Looking good and being comfortable the whole way through. I care. I really do. I want to fix it. I've taken full heads of extensions out and redone them for free. Now I say for free, but maybe I did something wrong or they did. And I thought, like you, I don't think of a customer as this one time. I make money this one time. And if they want something free, now it's a negative. I think of a customer as a lifetime. I want them to come in all year long for many, many years, making me lots of money. If I have to sacrifice a little bit to fix it, it's almost like marketing. I pay money to market. That costs money and doesn't guarantee customers coming in. This is a client. If I make them happy, that's way more of a guarantee that they're coming back and giving me money in the future. I'd rather think of it as marketing, almost like fix marketing, fixing the relationship, one up and giving more value than they expected or they paid for.
You just brought up a very great point. That's the difference between a customer and a client. A customer is transactional. A client is relationship. Relational.
I know you get that. I know you get that from RJ, and every time he says that, I never really know what he means by customer client, because it's really just words, but you're given a different kind of definition. I get it.
You described it perfectly. A customer is transactional. You come in, you service them, they're gone. Next, maybe you see them, maybe you don't. You hope you see them. You hope they come back. You appreciate when they do. A client is a relationship, a long-term relationship where you want to you want to give, you hope they're happy, you're doing things in their best interest. You're going out of your way above and beyond what you would normally do to try to do good by them, for them. That's the difference between a client, versus a customer.
I know, and those words get changed and redefined from time to time. I know for a long time in the hair industry, people started trying to call them guests. Be our guest, and I mean, you might as well call them family members. Let's.
I call them patients.
Yeah, and then
because they're mental, and because you need a lot of it to deal with them sometimes.
Oh, a different kind of patience, not patient. A little play on words, huh?
A little play on the words, yeah.
That's funny. I'm watching. Oh my goodness. I wish I could remember the saying. Never mind. We got to move on. There's this show I'm watching, and it says the tagline is "Be something good," like be honest, be good, care, obviously. We care, obviously. And the part where the obvious is, it's like, why do you have to add obviously? And so I think her purpose was that if you're not obvious about it, it's okay not to care. And so it's like a play on words. I can't. I might have the words wrong.
I have no idea what you're going.
Delete this whole episode.
It's fun to see you stutter and try to find the words. See,
it's not the right words. I know. I tried so hard, and it didn't come out right. It sounded right in my head, and the words didn't come out. Tell us some of these. Are you through all of your statistics that you had?
No. But one of the other things that you brought up, though, which kind of segues into it, though, it's a good thing that you brought up, was the profit margins and the differences in how much money you're making off of what you're doing. So with that said, if you're selling online, now don't misunderstand what I'm about to say either, whoever's listening to this, because I'm all for selling online. I don't really care one way or another. I'm just sharing with you what the differences are, so you have to make the right decision for yourself. Okay. As an online retailer, you got to get the product. You have to storage the product. You have to house the product on a website, on a platform of something.
Right.
You have to ship it. There is the transportation cost, the overhead cost, the storage cost, shipping cost, advertising. There's a lot of overhead involved. So if we use simple numbers so it doesn't get too far-fetched, if you're selling something for $10 and it costs you $5 to $7 to storage it, if your overhead cost is that high, then you're only making a $3 profit. And then obviously the whole game is, can you get your overhead business operating cost of doing business lowered? So then you want to be like in a $3 to $5 range. So you're making $5 to $7 profit, like that's the whole game. But when you're selling it directly at the salon, either you're out and about and you're doing chores and you just happen to stop by the warehouse and you pick up stuff directly yourself, or you have it shipped to you for a low fee, and then you just have it at the salon on your station or on your retail shelf, whatever it is, your overhead cost of doing business is so much lower. You're literally able to make 80-90% profit margin versus a 30-40% profit margin. And when I'm saying that doesn't mean you're doubling up the price of, like, you bought it for 10, you're selling it for 20. I don't know how much you're buying it for. I don't care. I don't know how much you're selling it for. I don't care. What I'm all saying is you got to look at the business side of it. Don't think just because it's being sold online that they're making so much more money and you can't compete against that. That is not true. That is so untrue.
So what about lowering your price?
As far as lowering the price goes, I'm very aggressive in my marketing. So
hey, RJ says stop touching the mic.
Yeah, I just leaned back from the chair.
Is it you that I keep hearing some scratching noises? I think it is you and your mic.
I get excited. I start banging the desk. I start,
because I'm not touching. I haven't been touching my mic, so I hope it's not me and it's just you.
Are you getting an Italian to shut up? You make them sit on the hands. I got to sit on my hands.
Hey, so you're talking about the small margins these companies make. Didn't you say, I didn't realize this, that there was a law passed that these companies can't sell their product for less than their recommended MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price, to the public on Amazon, any website? They can't sell on any of these websites cheaper than they recommend.
Yeah, that was the argument. For the longest time, that was always the argument from hairdressers, is there's no point for me to try to sell retail behind the chair because I can't compete with the online prices. They're lower than what I can sell them for, because they can buy them for lower than I can buy them for. So it was a very discouraging, and it was a big problem. It kind of helped the online sales revolution a little bit, but then it hurt the beauty side of the industry a little bit. It also caused a lot more confusion. There was a lot of good, but there was an equal amount of bad that came from it as well. So at that time, I took to very aggressive strategies for selling to be able to be competitive. At that time, I was accepting coupons and price matching and even beating price matching.
Right. Yeah.
And,
At least you're
and
trying.
I was trying, and I was accepting at one point, I was accepting coupons from anybody. I didn't even care anymore. Somebody bought me a Bed Bath & Beyond 20% off coupon. And
That's funny. I remember you talking about that.
It was for a vacuum cleaner or some towels, or I don't know what it was for, but it had nothing to do with product. And I'm like, you know what? You want 20%? Like, to just say you want 20% off. She's like, I want 20% off. I'm like, fine. I'll give you 25. I'll do you even better. I'll give you 25. Like, I don't care. Just buy it from me, because I know the psychology behind it. If they're spending the dollar with you, they're going to spend the next dollar with you, and the next two, and the next three, and whatever, and so on and so on. But there was legislation that was passed a few years ago that whatever the MSRP is, online retailers have to sell at that price. They cannot undercut the Salon, and they cannot undercut the MSRP anymore. And if they do, and if they're reported, they can lose the ability, the privilege, the license, the contract, whatever the proper legal terms are. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, but then they are not allowed to sell. They lose their ability to sell that product online. So now there's no more excuses. If it's supposed to be sold for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, whatever it is, the minimum advertised price, there is a minimum. It's not the Wild West anymore where everybody can do whatever they want. So everybody has to sell it for the same thing. This gives the Salon an opportunity because we are not regulated by that. We should be selling it for a minimum price.
So we can sell it for lower.
We can undercut the online if we really wanted to and really stick it back to them. But then it really doesn't help anybody all the way around either. It devalues the product. But that's a whole nother opinion and an argument into itself.
Right.
Point is, there is no more argument to be had, whereas I can't compete with online retailers anymore because they're allowed to sell it less than I am. Mm-hmm. That doesn't exist anymore. Everybody's selling it for the same price. So now it just comes down to your relationship and your selling skills or your recommendation skills. Right. If you're a salesman like John, who only talks about features and benefits, then that's why they're going to buy it on their phone right in front of your face. And then you're going to walk around going, "That's disrespectful. I suck at life." But if you're like Bernard or you're like myself, who's a profitable stylist and knows how to recommend things because you subscribe and like us and comment with us all the time, then you're already in the know. Then you know how to properly talk to somebody. And then they just naturally want to purchase from you. So that's my shot at John.
Poor John. I mean, that's why we have him on. So stylists can see the other side sometimes.
Of sucking.
Don't go too hard. People will hate us for hating also, We like John. He just sucks. I'm just kidding. I think we probably should end this before we go downhill.
Poor guy.
I had one more. I had one more note that I wanted to kind of cover. And you may not love this because you sell products from a particular company. But if people really hate this, they can brand their own line. They can go to there's manufacturers that are like, name your product, and it might be the same line 3 or 4 other stylists are selling in the same smells, but it might have your name. It can be Eddie's amazing shampoo and Eddie's amazing conditioner. His line is called Eddie's Amazing, and then they're not going to find that anywhere else. So if you sell the product that you put your name on, well, then you have no excuse, John.
I am a very strong advocate for being an entrepreneur. I'm a very strong advocate for it. And I am not above private labeling. Start off with private labeling. You should start off with private labeling because it's a lower overhead cost. It's a lower entry point from a business perspective. You don't need as much capital as you would to make a custom formula. Custom formulas are extremely expensive. Mm-hmm. So if you start off with selling anybody else's product and you're smart about balancing your profit margins and putting a certain amount of it aside to build up some working capital for yourself. The
Right.
next step would be private labeling. And then if you're smart about and responsible about those profit margins and putting some of that aside, and you build up some more capital, then you can go into creating your own custom formulation. And then if you're even further smart about that and you put those set amount of profit margins aside, you build up enough capital, you become your own distributor, you become your own store, you can sell your brand through a distribution channel. You go global, you know. All you need is 1% of the market share. There is way more consumers out there than there are sellers. We all don't have to fight over the same consumers. We all just need 1% of the market share, and we will have an exceptional life. In the state of Illinois, there's only approximately 22,000 registered cosmetologists.
How many?
Now, about 20 to 22,000 registered cosmetologists. Okay. Maybe 25. Maybe the numbers have grown since the last time I looked.
Did you say in the country?
Illinois, in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, okay.
I could speak for myself since I know. But the last time I checked, we were between 20 and 22. It may be up to 25 by now. The point is, if there's only 25, okay, let's just go high. Let's say there's 25,000 hairdressers. No, there's 25,000 cosmetologists in Illinois. That doesn't mean all of them are doing hair. But even if they were, what's the population of the state of Illinois? I mean, Chicago, just Chicago and the Chicagoland area alone is like 20 million people. It's insane. Okay. So all you need is 1% of that. You'd have way more business than you can handle, guaranteed, because you only need 160 clients for a full book. Go check out one of our other videos that we've done in the past.
How do you know that?
And then you become a six-figure income stylist, right?
How many zeros is million?
Is that 8? Is that 7? No, 100. Okay, 100,000 is 6.
I was going to ask somebody to do 20 million divided by 25,000 just to see how many clients are available. And you're talking about just in your city.
Yeah. So a 7-figure income is $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah. So not everybody can get in with it. There's not enough stylists, actually, if you do the math like that. Let's say each one needs 200 clients. I bet you that all the clients can't get their hair done by stylists. So some people are having to do their own hair. Now, you're talking about the stylists in the whole state can't do just the people in your city.
Their own state. There's enough business just in your local. So now you as an individual, the town that you live in, do you happen to know the population of your own town?
I don't.
And I guarantee you, Bernard, unless your population is less than 100 people, you only need 1% of your town's population, of your little neighborhood, to keep yourself busy. That's what I'm saying. There's enough business out there for everybody. We don't have to try to be undercutting and competing. Just stand on your own accolades, for your own beliefs, for your own vision. Move forward with that. Be confident and push yourself forward. You'll make it. You'll make it just fine.
Yep. I never believed in competition so much. You only need a couple hundred clients max. That's like any good dinner party. Well, maybe wedding. Maybe a dinner party is a little smaller. But
like a wedding party, a small wedding party.
Any decent wedding party. I always looked at that party and thought, that's what I need. All of you, come to me. I'm good for life.
That's it.
Well, I think that about wraps it up, huh?
It's a good topic.
I feel good about helping John. Solved his life's problems here. Surprised he must be doing hair, or he would be on the comments thanking us profusely.